Hello, darkness, my old friend. You've come to talk with me again. Sens lose 4-0 to the Washington Capitals. I mean, are you surprised? That's now 11 losses in their last 13 games against the Capitals. But at least it wasn't 5-2. Besides, the Sens didn't play all that poorly. They weren't great, but Washington did get a lot of great goaltending. And with this being the final game before the holiday break, let's try to keep it upbeat. I'll even try to get into the spirit a little bit. As always though, let's kick things off with lineup changes. As I mentioned at the end of my last video, Craig Anderson is out with an upper body injury, so the Sens recalled Marcus Hochberg to serve as the backup for Mike McKenna. While it is a little concerning that Andy is out, at this point, I'm not all that worried. The Sens are off until Friday, and Andy wasn't scheduled to play last night anyway. There's a chance he'll be back Friday, and if he is, then no harm, no foul. And in the meantime, let's just stay calm and worry about the injury when it's time to be worrying about it. Aside from McKenna getting the start and goal on the second night of a back-to-back, the Sens also made a pair of changes to their skaters. Tom Pyatt and Max Lajoie drew out of the lineup, and in drew Nick Paul and Justin Falk. On the Caps side of things, Braden Holtby was given the night off on the second night of their back-to-back as well. Perfect! The Sens get the backup goalie treatment as well. The backup goalie is from the North Pole! No, he is not. Yep, North Pole, Alaska. Well, Merry Christmas to you too. And hey, I thought I told you yesterday to quit talking to me. Every time you do, it's nothing but bad news. Once again, he is right though. The Caps start North Pole Alaska native Phoenix Copley on the final night before the Christmas break, and boy, does it ever work well for the Capitals. With the spirit of Christmas on their side, the Capitals waste little time getting on the board first. Siegenthaler sends a shot on goal, Brett Connolly tips it by Mike McKenna, and about a minute and a half into the first period, Washington leads 1-0. Jaros doesn't even try to tie up Connolly's stick until after he's tipped it in the net. Because of course he doesn't. No one else does either! Merry Christmas, Caps. There's a nice little gift for you to start the game. The Sens try to tie the score a few minutes later, but with the powers of Santa Claus coursing through his veins, Copley goes right pad, left pad save in a span of about 3 seconds to rob Tkachuk and White, who are both on the doorstep looking for a goal. Then Nick Paul dangles through the whole Caps team, but can't beat the goalie, as jolly old St. Nick's is there again. Mike McKenna snaps out the glove to rob Andrei Burakovsky around the midway mark of the period. Then, a minute later, Ryan and McKenna team up to rob Dowd of a sure goal. But if you keep giving the Caps chances, they are going to make you pay. And sure enough, just before the end of the period, we get exactly that. Backstrom leads a 3-on-2. He feeds Niskanen, who is left wide open going to the front of the net. He tips it by McKenna, and just like that, it's 2-0 Caps. The absolute worst played 3-on-2 I have ever seen, too. Falk attacks the puck carrier, Pajärvi doesn't do anything, and that gives Niskanen the lane to the net. Everything is awesome! And after a decent first period, we get to the intermission with the Caps in front, 2-0. And like I said earlier, if you keep giving the Caps chances, they're going to make you pay. And just shy of the midway mark of period 2, we get that again. Verena steals the puck off Mark Stone at the top of the Sens circle, turns around, wheels in on a breakaway, fires it over the glove of McKenna, and just like that, the Caps are in front 3-0. It's Christmas, we're supposed to be happy, we got visions of sugar plums dancing in our heads, yes, happy! The Sens really put my happiness to the test a few minutes later though. Because before the end of the period, we get another Caps goal. Kempny throws a shot on goal, the cameraman is napping, and by the time he figures out where the puck is, it's in the net. What just happened? How did that go in? Then we get a different camera angle? Oh, that's how it went in. CC kicked out his leg and literally kicked it by McKenna. Bad break on a not-so-smart play, and the Caps lead 4-0. And we head to the third period with the Sens still down by that 4-0 score. The Sens try to get on the board, but maybe it was Santa Claus, or his elves, or their powers, or maybe it was just Copley himself, but somehow the puck stays out of the net, and the Caps skate away with a 4-0 win. Lesson learned. The next time a team brings in a player from the North Pole, you can respond with a player from Reindeer Lake. Then they can harvest their powers of Rudolph and make the red light glow. Outscored 9-2 heading into the Christmas break, huh? Let's just get into good news, bad news. Like I've said before, When I'm hard on this team, I also have to be easy on this team when they deserve it. So, Ovechkin, Backstrom, Kuznetsov, and Karlsson, they combined for just 2 assists, and that is the good news. Anytime you can hold Alex Ovechkin to just a single assist, you've had a pretty good night. Add in just a single assist from the other 3, and it's a real good night. Were they perfect? No. But let's face it, keeping the league's best scorers off the score sheet every night, that's really hard to do. So keeping them to an assist, or in some cases pointless, that's a really nice night. And after a really tough night against the Devils on Friday, the Sens were able to keep the Caps' top players off the board, albeit at home. And that is the good news. Now, for the bad news. The Sens could not buy a goal last night, and that is the bad news. Yes, the Sens lost 4-0. But I actually didn't think they played all that poorly. And a lot of the stats from last night's game would back me up on that as well. The Sens outshot the Caps, outscoring chance the Caps, had the better of the high danger scoring chances, and had better of the possession in all 3 periods. They just couldn't beat the netminder. A lot of the credit for that has to go to Copley, who had a real solid night. The Sens did make an effort, and you could see they were going to the net. But more traffic in front, and more tips in front of Copley would have made things a lot easier. Because the Sens struggled to score last night, and that is the bad news. Next up, the Sens enjoy a nice little Christmas break before returning to action next Friday when they visit the New York Islanders. The contest will be the first of the season between the Sens and Isles, who won't play again until a home-and-home in March. The Sens come into the contest losers of 3 of their last 4 against the Isles. I'm sorry, does Ottawa have a winning record against anyone lately? Every time I do this segment, the Sens have lost some ridiculous number of games in a row to the other team. Anyway, the Isles come into the contest as the better team so far this season, as they've posted a record of 17-13-4 to sit 5 points behind the Montreal Canadiens for the final playoff spot in the East, with 3 games in hand. The Isles' 38 points are also 4 more than the Sens' 34, but the Isles also have 3 games in hand on the Sens as well. For a team that made some really interesting moves in the summer, including bringing in Matt Martin and Leo Komarov to replace John Tavares, they're actually having a pretty impressively solid season. Have a happy and Merry Christmas, and enjoy your time with friends and family. See you Friday night.